Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to a new video here on Patreon. And today we're gonna be doing a pretty different video, but it's going to be pretty important. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing you guys some basic file management inside of Blender. So this is something that is pretty essential if you're doing projects in general. Here you can see all of my big Instagram stuff that I've done over this past year, and yeah, I'm really happy I actually started doing file management and organizing my files, and it's been pretty nice to just be able to it's improving your workflow. So yeah, I'm just gonna show my latest one here, Macintosh. It will probably release in a few days. So yeah, here you can see I start by just naming these a number, and then this thing, and whatever I feel like calling the project. And if we just go in here, I will divide it up into two different folders. So we have projects and rendering. So in the project folder, I have all of my files, so all of the Blender files. I have one file for each shot, so, and I name them after A1 for animation 1 and A2 for animation 2. And I also have my After Effects projects. So yeah, that's basically the projects. And in the rendering, I have AE, that stands for After Effects. I have animation, which is animation, and stills for still images. So if we just go in here, you can see all of the different iterations. Don't mind this, I tried rendering some EXR stuff, but yeah, I didn't end up using them. So you can see this was the first, and it's called T1 for test 1. And here we have T2, which was test number 2, and we have some EXR stuff. And yeah, I basically use these to just render out different iterations of stuff. And yeah, here we have animation, which is, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So these are the folders I use to render out my animations into. So A1 is for animation 1, and when I hit render on an animation, all the images will come into this folder, and then I will group them together into an image sequence in After Effects. So it's having some trouble loading them all in. Yeah, so this can really help to just make your workflow way faster and keeping everything organized. And definitely if you're starting out with this, I really do recommend it. Yeah, because why not? Yeah, this is not gonna work, but yeah, basically a bunch of files stacked. Yeah, here we go. So this is animation 1, and here we have all of those. So yeah, and that basically goes for every project I've got here. We can go into the Mailman, and same setup there. So yeah, and the After Effects is basically the final thing, and everything that I render from After Effects will get into this folder. And yeah, I'm gonna do a little sample project here. So I've got this Macintosh model from my latest animation. I will probably release this on Patreon for the tier 10 and tier 7. So yeah, let's say we have a few animations that we want to render out, and I'm just gonna do this quick. I'm gonna have one sample, and yeah, before let's say I just model this and I want to save the project. So let's I'll go up in File, hit Save As. Okay, so I'm gonna make a new folder, don't mind this one, and I'm gonna call this 1. I have no idea what this symbol is called, but yeah, that symbol, and let's call this Macintosh. There we go. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna make one folder called projects, and gonna make one called rendering. There we go. So I want to save this in the projects, so I'm gonna call this Macintosh. There we go. Great. So I'm going to set the resolution to 1280 by 545, and I'm going to hit, actually I'm going to make this even quicker. So let's do 545 by 545. I know it's very low res, but we need to render this out very quickly, and I'm thinking I might be able to do it in the recording. So yeah, I'm gonna make this animation, and it's going to be I actually have no idea. What should I animate? Let's do a little nice. Yeah, I know what to do. So I'm gonna set a keyframe for the focal length and a keyframe for the camera, and I'm gonna move in 24 frames. Okay, and then I'm going to move in the camera like so, closer to the subject, and I'm gonna add a keyframe, and I'm going to add gonna make the focal length way smaller, so we get this nice dolly zoom. And I'm gonna select all the keyframes, hit V and vector. So now we'll get this nice animation here. So it's basically zooming in and zooming out and moving in at the same time. And let's get rid of the depth of field for this one. So yeah, I'm going to hit render, but before hitting render, I will go into the output, and I'm going to navigate to this folder. So I'm pretty sure it was in this one. Example. Here we go. Here we have our folder. So rendering, and I'm going to make one folder for animation and one for stills. So I'm gonna call this A1 and make a folder for A1. So this is basically animation 1, except. So all of our files will go into this one folder. And I'm just going to hit render. But first, we gotta know like how it looks. So we gotta make a test render. We don't want to waste a bunch of time rendering and then having to redo it because we didn't check it first. So I'm gonna render the image, and hopefully, yeah, it's going to take 2 seconds. And yeah, so I'm very happy with this, and I'm gonna save this out. So I'm gonna save it in the rendering stills T1 for test 1. Yeah, there we go. We're ready to render, and I'm gonna hit render animation, and hopefully this won't take too long. Yeah, it should only take a few minutes. So while we are doing that, let's go into After Effects, and we're going to prepare our export. I don't really know where this tutorial is going. I'm just giving you guys some tips. Hopefully it will help you. Damn, what is going on here? Okay, After Effects. I'm gonna make new composition from footage, and I'm going to navigate to the thing. Okay. Macintosh, rendering, stills. Okay, T1. So this is going to be our test subject for this, and I'm just gonna do some basic color grading. This is usually my what's the word? My workflow. So yeah, while the thing is rendering, I usually get started on the look of the clip. So I'm just gonna add some film convert nitrate to start, and I really do like this one. Man, okay, full quality. I'm just gonna bring down the tint a little, maybe bring up the oranges to get that nice vibey look, you know, and let's put this to like super 16 to get larger grain. And we can do some basic color correction here. Bring up the highlights, bring down the thing, and yeah. So I think our render is done. That's enough color grading for today. We have our animation all rendered out, one sample. So what do we do in After Effects? Yeah, we hit File, Import File, and Rendering Animation. So here we have animation 1. Maybe we want like more shots, but this is animation 1. So I will select the first one and check the PNG sequence, and it will import every other thing accordingly. So import, and we will just bring this in. We have our animation. So first things first, I'm just gonna check that we are rendering this 24 frames. So in After Effects, we have to make sure our composition is at 24 frames, which it is. Great. Okay. Yeah, that's our animation. And we have organized everything very good. So I would usually just do a bunch of compositing when this animation is done. And this is just an example. So let's say we want some cool thing for Instagram. So we're gonna make a clay render. I'm really doing too much here. Okay, maybe not. What am I gonna do? Okay, so we are very happy with our animation, and we want to render it out. So what do we do? Composition, and add to Adobe Media Encoder queue. And it should open up the Adobe Media Encoder. So I prefer rendering this using the Adobe Media Encoder because it can render it out into MP4 H.264 files, and that's great for iPhone stuff, because I usually transfer them to iPhone for upload. So yeah, Patreon, and yeah, in Macintosh. So this is going to get saved in the rendering, so we're gonna make a final one and call this AE for After Effects. And yeah, I'm gonna save this as T1 because it's test 1 for the After Effects. Let's say we want to make more adjustments, like let's say I would call this Mac, and then I would have to call the other one like Mac Final, and then V2 and V2. It's just call them organize stuff, basically. So yeah, we are ready to render this out, and I'm gonna hit the check box. Dang it, we're gonna render all of this. I forgot to crop the thing out, but yeah, that doesn't really matter. So final thing, let's say you really do love this After Effects project and you'd like to save it. You hit File, Save As, and you're going to save it in the same folder. Let's see. So you're going to save it in the projects right here and call it whatever. But I'm not gonna save it because I'm lazy. So yeah, we have done an animation from start to finish, and everything is super nice, organized and stuff. And yeah, not the prettiest animation, only one sample, but yeah, you can now feel proud of yourself that you have organized all of your stuff. And yeah, great. Hope you found this video sort of helpful, and yeah, have a great day. Bye bye.